So basically the present all the fuels we are obtaining from coal, petroleum and as well as natural gas. So these are formed by a dead and decaying matter of dead and decaying matter of both plants and animal bodies. So that is why these are formed by fossils. So that is the reason we used to call them as fossil fuels. But you can see which will be forming very deep inside the earth, and it will be take around million years to form this one under the earth surface. So that is why these are called as non-renewable resources, so which will be taking huge time to form. That is why we cannot be obtained in a short period of time. So consumption of this one leads to so many environmental issues also, as they contains nitrogen and sulfur also present in these compounds, which will leads to the global warming. So now that is what here you can see they're saying, and I will explain you some other things also. So coal and petroleum is have been formed from biomass which have been subjected to various biological and geological processes. So remember all of you, coal is only formed by vegetative matter. This is not found in our books, you can make it. So vegetative matter. Who is the vegetative matter? Anybody can tell? Mr. Kevin, Pradosh, Adarshan. Vegetative matter means what? Only plant-based things. Means like you can see trees, fence, and other plants which are lived million years of ago. So they all will die during the volcano eruptions or earthquakes and all. So these will go deeper inside the earth and they will be buried under the earth crust, extremely high temperature and pressure. So that is only formation of coal. So coal will form by only what, guys? Dead and decaying of which bodies? Vegetative matter. Please all of you remember. Vegetative matter means only plant-based wastage only, which will leads to formation of coal. So which will take million years to form. Around 300 million years it will take, and they were pressed down by layers of earth and rock. That is what extremely high temperature and pressure, and they slowly decayed into the coal. I understand everybody, and this process is only called as carbonization period. Anybody, if you want, you can note it. What is the formation of coal? The period is called as carbonization. Is it okay, all of you? Now, this will form under the earth. Same way, it will take oil and gas are the remains of millions of tiny plants and animals that lived in the sea. So petroleum basically will form under the seabed, like in the sense of like very deep inside the sea. It will leads to form the petroleum and as well as gas. That is what natural gas. So which will be decomposed by a small tiny plants and animal bodies. That is the main thing. So when they died, they buried the bodies, sank into the seabed, and they will be covered by the slit. Slit means what, guys? Some kind of wastage. So waste, slit means waste, like we can say normally like excretion. That is what we can say, slit. So bacteria which will attract like attack the dead remains, turning them into oil and gas under the high pressure they were being subjected to. And remember, this is also will take more number of years, millions of years to form. It is a very very slowly compressed into the rock, very very slow process it is. That is why the oil and gas is seep into the porous parts of the rock and got trapped like water in a sponge. And we can see, and I will teach you how it will be. See, always petrol and natural gas present between the two rock layers. This is one rock layer between the rocks, we can say. Okay, now here the petrol will be seeped into that, and these rocks is called as porous rocks. What do you mean by porous rocks? Anyone? What do you mean by porous rocks?
Rocks with holes in small holes.
Small holes. Now, in the diagram, I will explain you. So observe. Basically, imagine this is what the seabed. Okay, this is totally, what is this? Sea depth. Are you understand everybody? Sea depth it is. So now whatever it will die, everything will be fall here, and slowly they will be attacked by bacteria and converting into oil and gas. Sorry, oil and as well as petroleum. So there is a petroleum, oil and gas. Now from here slowly they will be seep into that. Seeping means penetrating. They will be seeping into the between the hard rocks which is having a porous medium. So this is that we used to called as porous rocks, and down will be having a non-porous rocks. Non-porous rocks. So that is what where the petroleum and as well as gas will be dumped here from under the seabed. So here always as we know gas and oil, who is having more denser, gas or oil?
Oil.
Oil. That is why oil, petroleum always will be having higher density, which will be at lower levels, and above will be having a gas. So between the always between the rocks only it will be available. So up the natural gas is available, and the bottom will be having a what will be having? Will be having petroleum. Raw petroleum which contains thousands of hydrocarbons. So that is how the petroleum and coal will form under deep inside the earth crust. That is what very extremely high temperature and pressure. Remember, the only vegetative body will form the coal, and decomposing of small plants and as well as animal bodies will leads to form the petroleum and as well as gas it is. So it will take huge amount of time. That is why we will say them they are what? Renewable or non-renewable resources? They are the non-renewable resources. Okay. Now you remember when they lead to formation of these things like coal and petroleum, they are also having nitrogen and sulfur in them. Please all of you note it down. That is why, so when the coal and petroleum fuels are burnt like petrol, diesel and all, so they will leads to formation of oxides also. What is that oxides? Anybody can tell? They also contains what? Nitrogen and as well as sulfur. So whenever they will burn fossil fuels, nitrogen and sulfur, so they will form oxides of them. What is the oxides of them? Nitrogen and sulfur. Nitrogen
Nitrogen
monoxide
oxide,
and
sulfur
sulfur dioxide or sulfur trioxide or nitrogen dioxide. So these is only we used to called as what gases they are called as? Greenhouse gases. So whenever if the rain will falls, these gases will react with the water. So do you all remember that? Oxides, non-metallic oxides will react with the water. They'll form what as acids or bases? They'll form
acids.
acids will form. Even I taught you in chemistry. So acids will form. So these acids only we used to called as what rains we used to called as
Acid rains.
acid rains. Okay, so that is what you have to remember, which is the major pollutants in the air. Major pollutants. So that is why we have to control the fossil fuel consumption. So because of these harmful gases are released by this burning of fossil fuels. If you burn the coal or petroleum, doesn't matter. Everything they contains deposits of nitrogen and sulfur as it is, which is present, which is forming deep inside the earth crust. So many other things also present. So this is what you have to remember. Do you understand everybody? Are you clear? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Next, the last important concept in this, other after that we will go to the important compounds. That is what? Why do substances burn with a flame or without a flame? So that is what we are going to study now. So with a flame or without a flame. Now, today after the class, just if you go to your kitchen and you can see, whenever you are having a burner, you might be having all of you are having gas stove. When your mother is cooking, you can see it will be having like they will say keep place it in maximum. That the controllers you can see they will say like low flame, high flame and all. They will say keep it in sim. They'll say sim means it will get a low flame so that slowly it will be cooking. If we'll keep it maximum so that fast it will cook. Have you noticed it, everybody? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Controlling.
Yes, sir.
Now you can see, try to keep it in the minimum. Minimum means in the sense of minimum flame is ejecting. By the time you can see the flame is appears to be yellow flame. Have you noticed it, all of you? And if you keep maximum, if it is keep minimum, maximum the flame will be appears to be a blue color. And if it is keep minimum, the flame is appears to be light yellow color, or almost the gas cylinder is over. Then you will get a sound like a blah, 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 blah sound like that will come, and also it will be flame is appears to be yellow color. Have you noticed it, everybody? Or if you'll burn the candle, the flame is appears to be yellow color. Or if you'll burn the firewood, the flame is appears to be yellow color. Do you notice it or not, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Or if you're having a diesel tank, you can see why the diesel cars are not good and petrol cars are good. They are saying because diesel cars emit more smoke or less smoke, more smoke. Understanding? That is one of the reason even government is banned the kerosene now, because kerosene refining is very cost effective and also it will release more smoke. So that is why kerosene and as well as even diesel is also not preferred nowadays. Only we are going with the what? Petrol. Because petrol having less carbons or more carbons? Less carbon.
Less carbons.
So that carbon emission, the fossil fuels, yeah, orange flame also, Mukesh. So the which is having high calorific value and it will emits the less pollutants, means smoke will be less. That is why we are nowadays, you can see petrol cars, most of the people are shifting to petrol cars, but it is a cost effective. But remember, always flames will represent in the two types. One is blue flame, another one is yellow flame only. Sometimes you can see light orange color also, but of course it is considered as yellow flame only. So when all we are like we can see, as we are seeing that LPG, candle flame, etc., etc., and kerosene oil, diesel, everything. So you can see what do you mean by flame. First of all, that is what you have to remember. Okay, green color not happen, Monish. So green fuels will say, green fuels means which will emit zero pollutants, called as green fuel. Doesn't mean that it will emit the green color, only blue color. If it is a blue, it is a clean fuel. Is it okay, Mr. Monish? Okay, everybody. So now I'm asking the question. Some substances burn with a flame. Of course, it is a yellow flame or blue flame, doesn't matter. And some will burn without a flame. So now I want to know, what do you mean by flame? Anybody can tell? What do you mean by flame? You already studied in 8th class also. All of you? What do you mean by flame? Yes, please. So remember, flame is a region where combustion of gaseous substances takes place, or burning of gaseous substances takes place. So that is why a flame is produced only when gaseous substances burn. So I will explain you also. So a fuels burn with a flame, but only those solids and liquid fuels which vaporizes on heating and burn with a flame. That is what you have to remember. So a solid and liquid fuels also will burn and they'll produce the flame, only having a capacity to convert into gaseous state. When they are heating, they only will produce the flame. That is what you have to remember. So these flame is two types, as I told you. One is blue flame, another one is what flame, guys? Yellow flame. Remember, flame means a fuel. What do you mean by flame? Flame is produced only when gaseous substances burn. Solids and liquids also fuels will be present, but when they are heating, they will be converting into gaseous state. Then only they will start producing the flame. That is what you have to remember it. Now, when these fuels burn, the type of flame produced depends on only one thing. That is what I already taught you, is availability of what, guys? Availability of what? Some gas, supporter of combustion. Who is that?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. So that is what you have to remember. Now, once again, what I taught in previous class, I am trying to recollect. Remember, if carbon percentage is less, then air is sufficient, means atmospheric oxygen is sufficient for the combustion. Is it okay, everybody? If carbon percentage is less, then atmospheric oxygen is sufficient for the complete combustion, so that it will produce what flame, guys? Blue flame or yellow flame? It will produce the blue flame. Do you understand it? If carbon percentage is increasing, then atmospheric oxygen is not sufficient. So it will undergo what it is? Incomplete combustion or complete combustion?
Incomplete combustion.
Complete combustion. So it will leads to what? It will leads to what flame? Everybody, yellow
Yellow
flame.
flame.
And also it will release the more pollutants or less pollutants?
More.
More pollutants. Understanding? Even poisonous gas also will produce. What is the poisonous gas? Most dangerous gas, silent killer.
Carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide.
Monoxide. That is what. But as I told you, even though the high percentage carbon compound, if I provide pure oxygen, what will happen, guys? Even though carbon percentage is high, but if I provide pure oxygen, then what will happen? Pure
Burn
oxygen,
with blue flame.
it will
Blue
undergo
flame.
complete combustion. They will produce the blue flame. So that is why you can see burning of firewood and all our governments and all, they are slowly, everybody they are requesting to shift into gas cylinders, LPG cylinders, because burning of firewood will leads to extremely high pollutants because of incomplete combustion. So that is why even candles also, you can see a candle flame also contains soot and smoke. Soot means the finest carbon. So under the candle flame, if you have taken the candle flame, this is, now if you keep your hand here, you might be get, after some time, a black color stains will be forming on your hand. Have you noticed it, everybody?
Sir.
So that is only called as soot, and also it will contains huge amount of smoke, because that soot only called as finest carbon. Finest carbon, that is what? Unburnt carbon or burnt carbon? Unburnt carbon. Understanding? Because of incomplete combustion. So it is the major pollutant. Incomplete combustion, they are the major pollutants for environmental issues. So that is the reason even you can see burning of firewood or these kind of high level carbon containing substances like diesel, kerosene and all, slowly the governments are trying to prevent or trying to stop it complete usage. That is why before ration shops and all, you might be see all the governments, all the entire India, ration shops and all, people used to get kerosene. But now, last 5 6 years, no kerosene is provided in the ration shops. You might be notice it. Is it yes or no? Because extraction of kerosene from the refining petroleum refinery is extremely high, and but it will emit a huge amount of what we can say for this kind of harmful substances. That is why we stopped usage of kerosene almost, but now diesel also next to the kerosene. So that is why slowly we are shifting to electrical vehicles or petrol vehicles probably. So that is why all of you should remember those substances who can like produce a gas when they are heating, only they will produce the flame. So that is what you have to remember it. And some substances, even if you take the solids also, basically all the gases already they will be in a gaseous state, so that they will easily will burn and they will produce the flame. But if you take the liquids, suppose if you take our cylinder contains what, guys? LPG cylinder, liquefied petroleum gas. Is it a liquid state or solid state? It will be in a compressed liquid state, but when it will come out, it will form what state? LPG will
Gaseous.
form what state? Liquid to gaseous state. So that is why it will form the flame. So like same way, solids also, same way if we take candle also. Candle what state, guys? It is solid state.
Solid state.
So it made up of what? Wax. So now
X.
wax, when we are heating, it will converting into what state? It will converting into gaseous state.
Gaseous.
So that is why it will produce the yellow flame. So whatever it is, either it is a solid or liquid fuel, doesn't matter. If it will converting into gaseous state on heating, then it will definitely will produce what, guys? It will produce the what?
Flame.
Do you understanding? Now, sir, if it is not producing the flame, is it not as a is it not as a fuel? Will called as a fuel only. So some substances, some solid and liquid substances does not vaporize on heating. Do you understand, everybody? Who can vaporize, they will called as, they will produce the flame. Some solid substances and as well as some liquid substances, they cannot, understanding, cannot form vapors on heating. So they will burn without flame or with the flame, everybody? Yes, please. They will
Without
burn
flame.
with flame or without flame? They will burn without flame. So, a solid or liquid fuels which is not having a capacity to form the vapors on heating, they will burn without flame. All of you should remember, if they will ask you example, you can say like coal and charcoal, they will burn without producing a flame. So just they will glow like a red and give out the heat alone. So that is why you can take this coal and charcoal. They are not flammables, like which who can produce the flame. Just they will burn without a flame because they cannot be vaporizing on heating. Understand, everyone? So what are the examples which cannot form the flame? Coal and charcoal. All of you should remember that. Coal and charcoal. Okay. So why, sir? So remember that. So this coal and charcoal contains some volatile substances. Do you understand, everybody? All of you? So for example, see, how many of you know the person, this ironing person who can wash and iron the clothes? Do you remember that? All of you? Yes, please. So nowadays we are ironing with the electric iron, but now also you can see in Pudukkottai, so many, most of the streets you can see a man will iron with the burning of coal. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, burning coal only. Now, when he is trying to ignite, it will catch fire and it will burns with a flame. After some time, slowly it will flame will disappear. Only it will be in a red color. You can see inside only slowly it is burning. He is keep on blowing the air. Have you noticed it, everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
please. So this
Yes, sir.
charcoal, what will happen means, so basically at the beginning stage they will be having some porous medium. So this porous medium, they contains some gas substances which are highly volatile in nature. What do you meaning of volatile? Anybody? What do you mean by volatile substances? Who can change state easily? Who change state easily? Okay, like if we'll take for example petrol, what is the state of petrol, everybody?
Liquid.
Liquid. But if you'll open the tank and keep, you might be noticed, your parents also used to discuss, petrol evaporated, they will say. Have you noticed it? Because petrol is a volatile substance which can change its state easily, and petrol easily can converting into gaseous state. Like that, this coal and charcoal will be having some amount of volatile substances at the beginning stage. Whenever I will keep the fire, they will catch the fire and they will evaporate. After that, they will never produce the flame. So they will be only burns without flame. Do you understand, all of you? So when all these volatile substances present in the coal and the charcoal gets burned, then remaining coal and charcoal just glows red and gives heat without producing. Just glows like a red and, understand, producing only heat energy. That is why you can see volcanoes and all. volcanoes and all, no flame is produced. Only what it is produced, guys? Only they'll be producing heat alone, and they'll be appears to be like a red color, like glowing like a red color. So that is what will happen. So who can burn with the flame or without flame? All of you should remember who is having a capacity to form the gaseous vapors on heating, they will burn with the flame, or who cannot produce the gaseous vapors, they can burn without flame. So with the flame example, you can say candle, understand, and our LPG gas. Then the next one, what we can say, without flame we can say what, guys? Colon charcoal. Okay, that is what you have to remember. And next, one more thing I want to teach you: a LPG cylinder which will produce blue flame or yellow flame, guys. Blue flame. Understand it? And blue flame is called as, remember, non-luminous flame. Non-luminous flame. All of you remember. And this one is called as yellow flame, is called as luminous flame. Please note it down. That is it clear, all of you? Yes, please. Any doubt? So this is what till here. It is there in our NCERT also. So it is there in our tabular column. So all of you learn till here. And any doubt, anything, you can ask me. So once you completed this one, then the next class will start with some important carbon compounds. That is what? Ethanol and ethanoic acid. So we'll study that, and most probably hardly within 2-3 days we'll complete this chapter. Later that we are having soaps and detergents. That is even the one of the major concept. Once that concept is over, this chapter will end. Okay. So thank you all of you. We'll meet in next class.